Welcome back to another episode of Slow Podcast, focusing on that which takes time to grow. Esther here, and this is Kevin.
Hi.
And we're back to our husband and wife conversation.
Yep.
Some of these podcast topics that we've been having kind of birth forth from some of our midnight conversations.
Yes.
Of course, lately I've been sleeping early because I'm just so exhausted most of the time. But a lot of it happened pre-bedtime. That's where sometimes we would throw each other questions on certain things we've heard, on certain things we've read, or some silly stuff our kids told us about. But recently there was, there's this question that I've been seeing people post in their Instagram, social media on commitment.
Yep.
Right? And in this culture, it's rare that someone starts something and commit all the way till the end, because it feels like a touch and go culture, right? Because there's so many startups. They start up something, they do well, they sell, they move on to something else.
Yep.
But when it comes to commitment, what are your thoughts on how do you view commitment?
I think if we just go back to what you just shared just now about startup culture, I think their definition of commitment is I start, I prep it to the point that it's ready to sell, or I have sold it, then it's finished. That's my commitment. I think I think the definition of commitment ought to be having the capacity to see something through. That means you start something, you have to see it through to the point that you finish it, regardless of what happened in between. And I think that's a struggle, that's a challenge. And I don't think it is a modern day problem. It is a humanity problem for as long as humanity exists. So it's not just a, current day kind of a thing. It's hard because especially if the commitment that is required is a long-term thing.
Then there will be that struggle where people will ask, then when can I give up? When is that point of giving up and it's justifiable that, hey, I've done this, I've tried it, I've committed towards it, I've built something, it's enough.
Okay. I think having talked to so many people, if you set in your heart to start something and to do something, to reach a goal or something, if you know that that's where you want to get to, and you know that's where you will stop, whatever you decided at the beginning, this is where I stop, I think that's not quitting or giving up. But if I know this is where I should get to, but along the way I encounter so many difficulties, and I keep thinking maybe this is not meant for me, then I would think that that's quitting. Unless the situation or environment, circumstances we're in are so diverse from how it originally started, then perhaps that's when it should warrant a rethink whether we should continue with the journey. So for example, if I go hiking and there's a river, immediately I see that river as an obstacle that, maybe I'm not supposed to get there. But the river is part of the journey. Unless there's a landslide and everything collapses, there's no way to get there. And I think if you stop and you rethink your whole path, I wouldn't say you can consider that person is quitting.
I remember when I first started my Instagram account, I'm just a newbie, right?
Yeah.
Year 2020. On March 2020, I started my Instagram account for the first time, right? And you've been on it for many, many years.
Yeah.
So when I started this account, I kind of gave myself a purpose that I want to make my account useful to many out there. So it took me a while to find that rhythm. I wasn't sure what I was going to use my account for, right? Is it just to post photos, traveling, or live? But back then it was a pandemic, nothing was happening, so it was just us at home. That is the beginning of me posting our marriage story, right? Our story.
Yeah.
And if I were to relate it to commitment, it was something I committed myself to.
Yeah.
I would commit to posting one post a day
Yeah.
and 5 Insta stories a day.
Yeah.
And for the next 2 or 3 years, that's exactly what I did. And there are many days that I question myself, do I need to post every day?
Yeah.
Right? Do I need to post so many stories? Do I need to put in so much effort? But it was it's during those moments that I really question my commitment. It's like, how long should I do this?
Yeah.
5 years? 10 years? Forever? And it ties back to the original, for me, right? It ties back to the original purpose of why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I think for the first time in my life, I was very clear with the why. Like throughout my life, not that I'm not clear with my why, but this particular reason why I started my Instagram account was a very clear purpose. I think having a clear purpose helps me with my commitment.
Yep.
For those days that I really dread posting, where I have no ideas, I have nothing to post, I make it happen because I know this is something I'm committed to, and I have a purpose that drives me. So that to me, I'm driven by purpose.
Yep.
What about you?
No, I think it's good what you just shared, because if the reason you started the Instagram account, the purpose is to serve people. So when you don't see a lot of interaction or whatever,
or I get bad comments, or sometimes in the beginning it hurts.
All kinds of comments will come in, or people use your post as an opportunity to advertise their thing. But as long as you know that each time I post, we don't know who will read it, and those who read it, sometimes who are benefited from it, may not like directly DM you, or they repost it, or they will tell you about it. As long as you know that you're doing this because you want to serve a need, I think you'll be okay. But if the purpose is for your own happiness, I want to post this because I want to be happy. I want to be happy because I want people to see me. I want people to like my picture, to put comments. And I think if that purpose that we have, it's not eternal in nature but temporal, I think it's easier to give up. Right? Like, I just want that moment. Like, every time I post, I'm trying to collect likes. I'm trying to collect responses from people. That is actually just for my own happiness. But if I'm posting this in order somehow, somewhere, it will benefit somebody, I think it's the same thing that we're doing, right? But the whole dynamic behind is so different, because it motivates you to keep going regardless of whether you have enough likes or not.
So then what's the right mindset to have when we are committed towards something, but along the way, it's just tough, all right, to keep that commitment going? What are some of the practical steps that a person can have to get into that right mindset in staying on for the long haul?
I think it to me, it really goes back to what is the reason why you do something, and perhaps along the way define how much pain you're willing to take. Right? If the first sign of pain you quit, then I'm afraid the whole idea of commitment, understanding of commitment, may not be correct. The definition of commitment in our lives may not be correct. But if I start to do something and I know it has great impact, and I am prepared to take a lot of pain, then I guess the whole journey, the whole process of it, though not easy, we will be tired, defeated, but we will not quit. Knowing that, this is really just part of the story.
So, as a starting point, should there be a timeline for commitment? Right, I'm talking about projects. I'm not talking about relationships.
Okay.
Of course, marriage, there's no timeline, right? It's not like, hey, we give ourselves 10 years, after that we move on, that's different. But in normal projects or life or work, is it easier to have a timeline for that commitment so that okay, maybe in the next 2 years, this is what I'm committed to.
Okay. Talking about timeline now. I just came back from the car workshop.
Okay.
This scary story that I never dare to bring up at home because I sent my car.
I think it's a great story that everybody needs to hear.
That's why
so
you
what
look at
happened
me,
to your
right?
car?
See, the mood today is like kind of like gloomy.
I think that's a perfect story.
Perfect story, right? Suddenly, now that you
commitment.
mentioned about it.
Yeah.
So, hi, if you're listening to us. So there was this story of how I bought a really old BMW because there was a lot of sentimental moments I shared in that car. Not the exact car, but when I was growing up. So one day I found my neighbor having the same car. So paid a few $1,000s, just really a few thousand.
You convinced him to sell it to you.
I convinced him. He wasn't even selling.
Yeah, he wasn't even selling.
I said, hey, would you sell me your car? And he's like, oh, are you a salesman? I said, no, I just have a lot of fond memories with this car because the light in the dashboard was orange and it etched in a very deep core memory of me because when I was younger, my friend would take me to buy ice cream in that car. And as expected in this moment, hi, we are recording.
Our 8-year-old boy just got home.
So I bought a car and then I happily post the car online, say I got a car. Then some random guy, oh, your car look a bit high. I think the random guy will probably listen to this podcast and say, oh, your car is a bit high. Would you like to check it down? And then, oh, would you want to change the seat and modify your car? So one thing leads to another. I sent my car to be done up nicely and sent the car in. Then my son was born.
Yeah,
Alexander was born. The same year I sent the car in.
Yep.
Year 1, oh yeah, car's progressing. Year 2, car is progressing. Year 3, yeah, car's progressing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The car's still progressing.
He's committed to not send the car back out.
I guess, I don't know whether I can say he's committed not to get the car out, but he is non-committal to a deadline. Right? He's not committal to a deadline. So it is a lot of things.
And you didn't push him?
I push. I've gone the angry route, gentle route, nice route, friend route, buddy route, every possible route. So anyway, I just came back from taking the car from that original workshop to another workshop to be fixed. I think some of the mistakes that we all make is that we're probably afraid to commit to a deadline. He was afraid, and I kind of like, it's okay, we can give it a shot. And so yeah, after 8 years, he's committed to a lot of other things. He's still doing his thing, doing his life. This car is just at the bottom
of his commitment.
Of his commitment hierarchy, like right at the bottom of the food chain. So that's why the car after 8 years. So now it's in a new workshop. Man, they work fast. The engine is like ripped open, the gauge, the rubber, it's all being like redone and everything, the wiring, everything is taken out and replaced with another engine that's supposed to help the car run better. Sana, faster we're recording.
He's having his snack time. After school snack.
So there's a lot of progress. So this new guy that has taken on the project has a 3-month deadline. By October, okay? October we'll come back. Maybe we will do a podcast and unveil the car. How about that? So
non-commitment versus commitment.
Commitment. So and this new guy actually bugged me to go and check the car. Like every 2 weeks, check the car, check the progress. He told me every bolt and nut that was taken out and replaced, everything. I think you're right. The deadline, the commitment, I think should have an end.
Like a marriage
Marriage has
commitment,
an end.
and is death.
Yeah, till death do us part. That's
Yep,
the vow
that's
that
right.
we make to each other, ma. Otherwise, I think I'm getting into it. Okay, I think I really love this conversation now. No one can be committed to a thing that has got no end. Life will not have meaning if you don't die and don't depart here. It just keeps on going. Like, so imagine, just imagine, in the world that we lived in, not in the ideal world that God has designed it to be, but here on this side of the realm, if we don't die and don't depart from here, how long should we study? Just a simple question. You can study until 4,896 years old, still studying. Because there is no meaning. I mean, not no meaning, but there's no demarcation of, for us it's different now. If you live between 80 to 100 years old, the first 20 years spent on studying, learning, and then you start working, building a family, building a career, and enjoying the fruit of your labor, and then you wrap up your life. It's end, you see. It's like okay. So don't be so morbid. We talk about death. Can you imagine a basketball match that doesn't end? We just keep playing. So we don't know what is the end goal. So I think, it may not, don't be so gory and talk about death, but every commitment that we make, that we should have a milestone demarcation to say, hey, I've reached here, I'm happy. Because the only person that we can lie to is ourselves when we actually are quitting, but we say, I've come to the end of this commitment. But we're not dealing with the real issue. I'm quitting, I don't want to do this anymore. Because I would think that can be something very powerful if I say, this work is not done, but I am done. It's different from this work is done. Actually, it's not done. It's just that I don't want to do it anymore. So maybe because of that, we are afraid of commitment. We don't want to talk about commitment, and we just try to avoid that topic because it's kind of like big.
Yeah, because commitment sounds scary for many. Once you use that word commitment, most people think, for life? How long do I have to do this? So having that timeline is important, and it's something that you said before, that when a dream comes to pass, it dies.
Yeah.
Right. So when people are in a commitment and they kind of achieve certain results that they wanted to, that inspiration, that dream kind of dies. And if they just continue on not knowing there's an end to it, they will die, and they'll lose interest, and they'll maybe give up. They just do, but they're feeling purposeless. So that's the opportunity for new dreams to happen. And that's where people come alive the most, when they have new dreams.
Yeah. You see, actually we want commitment. We actually appreciate commitment. But we want it from others, not when the demand is placed on us. For example, if we are putting a down payment to buy a house to be built, you want the developer to be committed to finish the project. Because I'm serving the mortgage, right, the loan every month. You cannot tell me, hey, in a Malaysian accent, see first. Let's see how it goes. No, there's no room for see first. You have to tell me, 2025, you're going to finish the project and hand over in May. We actually like that because it's a marker for a thing that has been done. And then after that, when we deal with the bank, we cannot tell the bank, if I feel like it, then I pay my loan. Right? No, we want it actually, but it's just difficult when we feel that it is now imposed on us. So we got to understand imposing this on each other is actually for our own benefit.
So back to the story of your old car.
Yeah.
So you put it in and
We found out a lot of things missing, but anyway,
okay.
we talk tonight before we go to bed.
8 years.
8 years.
I just want to know for you on the other side of the commitment. How did you feel with this non-committal relationship with your mechanic? Because this is not you. You are someone with deadline, with a purpose, you know what you want. But with this car, you waited for 8 years before you did something with it. What was going on the other side of this non-committal
like I said, right?
relationship?
I have done everything. I've been upset. I've used the angry route, the nice route, the kind route, the generous route, the I understand you route. I tried every possible way. But the only reason why it was stuck for so long was because I don't have a way out until now. I don't have someone that say, hey, Kevin, like, let me take on this project and finish it for you, because it's already gone beyond money. It's gone beyond like pain and hurt, like, and gone beyond the desire to see the car come out actually. Like, will you ever see the light of day? So I'm stuck. Wow, this is powerful. I'm stuck because there was no way out.
So you rather stay in this non-committal
I
relationship?
don't know where to take the car to, you get what I mean? Like if I pull it out from that workshop, I have no place to put the car because the car is immovable. There is no engine, hardly tires. Ooh, tough conversation. And found out a lot of things missing. The seat's missing. The one that is not missing is totally destroyed. All the speakers are gone. Ginger?
Oh, I thought you bought new speakers.
Can we don't go there? I can shed a tear now. And the engine that I bought totally cannot be used. So I have to have another one now. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck because I know I have a problem. I know I have to find a solution, but I don't know where the answer comes from. If we put this in life, in marriage, in relationship, a lot of people are stuck in a sucky situation, not because they like it, but they really don't have a way out. They don't know what to do. So, what can I do? If I take the car out, if I take myself out of this equation, where do I go? I cannot pull myself out from a marriage or a community or a friendship. So unless the pain is so great, either I tell the guy, hey, you know what, I don't want the car anymore. But then you invested so much into it.
A lot to lose.
A lot to lose. Money, time, effort, emotion, my goodness. So
that's the real struggle of most people, isn't
until one day a savior came along. I know somebody that can continue the project. So somebody came. At first it was seemingly continuing, but actually it's not. He totally replaced everything that is good in his car and put into my car. Of course I have to pay for that, but then I see like at the end of the tunnel, like I say until it's so emotional. It's not even a person, it's a car, for goodness sake.
Can you imagine if it's a person?
Tough.
Yeah.
I
For some friendships who have lasted for like 10, 20 years, but it no longer served them, or it's just hard.
That's why I have been having this thought for the longest time, that of all the complication in life, of all the deepest mystery of the universe, of all the things that we can discover in the world, whether it's the depth of the ocean or the possibility of life in another galaxy or what is inside the human brain, all these, medical breakthroughs, the hardest of them all is a complication between two human souls. Hard, like there's no answer. A person that's seeing from the outside who think that the problem is so small, but 2% on the inside just cannot find a way out to work on that. So I think in the marriage, in order for this breakthrough to happen, the security that each other, the commitment, the security that's birthed forth from the commitment that we give each other, that we will never quit this marriage, we will never divorce, no matter what happened. It's the little bright spark that allow us to explore all the differences and complication between two human beings raised differently, different time, to find a way out into healing and restoration.
I guess the closest relationship is the hardest, because not just marriage, a family.
Yeah.
Like you are blood related,
Born to it.
right? Like if a family member really mistreat you for years, sometimes you feel stuck because they're family, right? And that's where people, when they don't find any way out and they can't resolve whatever is going on, they just stay stuck until there is a
So
solution.
I want to say, right, there is really a way out. In my most dire state, there's really a way out. But we have to really ask ourselves first, do I really want to find a way out?
What was your way out? Give up the car? Just let it.
Find the person.
Find the person.
In the flow.
Okay. I thought you would.
You cannot give up. You cannot give up the relationship.
Okay.
You get me? If me and the car is the relationship, I cannot give up, right? That's the baseline. We are not giving up. So not giving up, but I cannot find solution. There's seemingly no solution. Then either one, of course for my case it's not the car cannot find another person. Then either one person must step out of that environment and say, I need help. I need support. I need to rethink this whole thing and how can I fix it. Not rethink this whole thing and how can I quit. Interestingly, just I've been talking to a friend that has been looking for me. One time, I was quite confused as to what was happening. Second time, he came and looked for me. I suddenly felt, okay, I think he's not just trying to ask me out for coffee to have a drink. I think he's asking for help. He went out of his comfort zone, because we used to be closer, but for a long time we never met. So just yesterday, I met him and I thought, wow, he's actually seeking for help. If I just be the friend and just listen, I think I would have failed him. But I offered a different perspective, not a solution, but hey, perhaps. He said, wow, nobody ever said that. So he went back happy. And he realized there's something different he should do. So if either one of us are stuck in a marriage, in a relationship, in a work situation, the bravest thing we can do is to step out and ask for help.
Yeah.
Humbling, but powerful.
Yeah. Sometimes it just requires us to step out from the issue and to just have time to process what we really need and have the courage to just go for it.
Yeah, because we also have to admit that what is my part first. If I keep going around saying, no, it's not my fault, it's Esther's fault, then if I have no committance, is there such word, to the what I contributed to the issue, it's not my problem, then why should I do something? But if I recognize that, hey, we're stuck here right now, maybe this is what I thought Esther should do, but she didn't do. But there's also some part that I did not do. I should talk about that with the person whom I can trust. And I think from there, we probably can find a way out.
I think commitment has so many layers,
So
right?
many, yeah.
But the ultimate the ultimate level of commitment, of course, it's long-term relationships, right? Marriage and family. But for those listening to this podcast,
Yeah.
it starts from somewhere, right? If you're someone thinking of taking the next step, right? How do you view commitment is to know that, hey, if you are giving yourself a purpose of why you're doing this, having a timeline really will help train your muscles, right? To learn what it means to be committed.
Yep.
Even when you're not seeing results, even when it's tough, even when you're failed, how do you keep going at it? And I think it's really a lifelong learning for every one of us. It doesn't mean we've done it once, we can do it again, right? Because every relationship is different, every situation is different. But knowing how to ask for help, I think is really important. That we don't walk this journey alone.
Yeah. Cool. Wow, that turns out heavier than we imagined. But yeah, if you probably need to step out and look for help, we just want you to know you shouldn't feel like you're alone. If you trust us, you can always DM us. If you have questions, you can always ask us. Now, we don't know everything, but whatever we know we can help, we would love to be there. So I hope you learned something from this episode this week. So yeah, if you like what you heard between two husband and wife talking to each other, do like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. See you the next round. Take care now. Bye.